All right, we're live. 3, 2, 1. Give a few minutes for people to join. Did you get back to your house?
I sure did, finally.
Finally, dude. You're on the road for what?
That was like 15 days or something.
You're on the road for how many weeks?
I think it was 15 days.
Jeez. Did the fam go with you?
No, that was the worst part. Yeah, that's the longest I've been away from the kids since they were born.
Wow. Jeez. Hey, do you have channels on here?
Yeah,
You have your
TikTok
channels?
and YouTube.
It didn't pick them up. We may have to. Oh, there you
I
go.
show. Okay.
I think it takes several minutes to start picking up the analytics
Yeah.
or to stream over to the platforms. All right, we'll give another minute here. We'll start at 7:05. Good morning to any of you who are joining. Today's going to be a great one. Jacob's going to be talking about several reasons why your ads aren't working. So I know that we've got several guys in the school group who have been posting their ads, asking for feedback. I've got one pulled up from JT. If any of you have a specific ad, we will keep a few minutes there at the end. Jacob and I will pull it up. We'll watch it live, and then we'll review it, and we'll give some quick pointers and feedback on it. So if you have an ad that you want feedback on, post that in the school group. If you're not in the school group already, it's school.com/ownerops, SKOOL.com/OWNROPS. It's a free group. Jump in, and yeah, we've got some free trainings in there and whatnot. But we are going to kick off here shortly. Jacob, welcome to another episode of the Owner Ops Podcast.
What's going on? Thanks for having me. Glad to be back.
Have you. Yeah, glad to have you back. So today we're going to be covering what?
Why your ads aren't working and what to do about it.
Okay, so what are some reasons why ads are not working for people?
Holy cannoli. There are so many. One, definitely giving up too quick. if you never give it any time, it's not going to happen. But also, you may just be shooting in the dark, right?
Yeah,
You're not using proven strategies. So that's one benefit of our ecosystem here. We have data from 5+ years of running ads specifically for land clearing marketing, and over 300 companies in pretty much every market in the US, a little bit Canada. But yeah, we're going to get into all of the reasons here. Of course, this is one of the things that, people say all the time. I'm spending money on ads and I'm just getting tire kickers, which is like one of my favorite and least favorite things to hear. Because I know there's, three things that have got to be wrong at least. And a lot of them are very easily fixable.
okay. So let's talk about some of those things that constitute a good ad versus a bad ad. Why would somebody have a $15 to $30 cost per lead versus a $150 or $200 cost per lead?
For sure, big time. So this is one thing I was talking about yesterday, but a lot of guys, especially on short form content, they create these videos that are cool to them and cool to other guys like them. Well, guess what? Other land clearing companies and your buddy with the machines, they're not your customer. And you'll even do well. Like the video will get a lot of engagement, get lots of views, but it's from the bros, right? It's not from your ideal customer, which is why you may have a seemingly good performing video, but your cost per lead is horrible. So I see this a lot. People love drone footage. Clients, your client that's already paid you, they love drone footage. Website drone footage, is decent background. For ads, specifically, drone shots just aren't it. We've spent lots of money both ways. I can promise you drone shots are not it. And also, people are getting served ads for everything all the time, right? But what people are liking and what people consume is other people. So what we've seen getting cost per lead down into this $15 to $30 range in 2026, it's got to be you talking on the camera, talking to your ideal customer about who you serve, what you do, why you're different, what they should do next. And 2.0 of that would be a good offer and risk reversal.
So this is interesting because we've experienced working with you pretty consistent 15 to 30. I would say ours is more like 20 to 30 on cost per lead. But what you were telling me earlier this week is you've got guys who you will see in the $150 to $200 cost per lead. And so I think we should just break it down very simply put. What does cost per lead actually mean? Because I think there are some people who are listening on this who may be asking the question, wait, do I pay $200 every time I get a cost or every time I get a lead?
No. Yeah, that's a good point. And I actually glossed past this a lot. So I'm glad you stopped for that. So on Facebook specifically, when you set your budget, you tell Facebook, hey, I want to spend this much on average. The way they do it is by day. So if you want to spend $1,000 a month, it's $33 a day, right? So it's going to spend that $33 a day. So if in a week, 7 days, you spent $250 and you got one person who became a lead, filled out a form, reached out to you, then that ends up breaking down to you paid $250 to get that lead. Now, if in that same week of you spending $33 a day to make that ad show up, that's what you're paying Facebook to buy space on the feed or wherever in the Facebook ecosystem. You're paying for that space. You're paying them to put it out in front of people. If in that same week you spent $250, but you got 10 leads, well, then that means you average $25 cost per lead. So what we do is we just use this cost per lead as a metric to see how much of that money is actually turning into opportunities.
And so, said another way, you're tracking this number to track what about the campaign?
Is it doing any good?
Is it doing any good? And so, simply put, like where you started this was, is the video performing or is the video not performing? And so, something that you made a point on, and I think we'll get to it here shortly, but you mentioned the drone footage because I hear this consistently. Even with guys who jumped in Accelerator, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna go buy a drone, and it's like, wait, we don't need to do any of that right now. All we need is the phone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you just talk to it. Especially in the beginning. And honestly, what we've noticed both with my ads and everybody's ads is the less polished it is, in most cases, the better it does because it looks less like an ad. It seems more real. Now there is there's an in between, right? Like we have guys who, were kind of resistive to making the videos, and then you finally get them to do it, and they stand there with their sunglasses on and they just read the script and they're just like, if you own land in Central Texas, 3 to 5 acres, it's like, okay, that's not going to work. So it has to be good to some degree, but what I'm saying is it doesn't have to be a cinematic produced production.
Absolutely. I believe energy and effort is the one thing that you can control whenever you're getting on camera. And so, here's a quick tip for anybody who is skeptical about getting on camera: go work out, get some good endorphins going, and then pull out your phone after that and ride the high of the endorphins whenever you're feeling great. Because if you bring energy and effort to the ad, that is what grabs the attention of the customers. To Jacob's point, hey, if your property looks like this, and if you want us to bring this machine over and look like that, That's not grabbing anybody's attention. But hey, Central County landowners, does your property look like this and you want it to look like that? 3 seconds. That grabs attention.
Boom. Yep. Exactly. Yeah, that's great. That is great.
So who are the videos for? You've already kind of touched on this, but I believe we should hammer this point home.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, honestly, this is one of the biggest mistakes I see guys make who think their videos are very good and then end up saying that this stuff doesn't work or they wasted money. This is like the common denominator for sure. Now, there are other things, but this is the big one that I see because they have these awesome drone shots and these awesome GoPro videos and the music we all love, divorced dad rock, or some of these newer artists coming out, and they get a ton of engagement, and they're like, they message me daily. I kid you not. They TikTok and Facebook message me daily. Check out my videos. They're next level. And I'm like, dude, I love these videos. But your customer does not give two craps about it because it's just for the bros. And that's a big mistake people accidentally make. So you have to shift your videos to talk to your ideal customer. And they want to see the owner talking, right? They want to see somebody, and you can see the big brands start doing this. Like that whole CEO eating the burger trend that recently came out. People like that. People like being able to, learn about the owner. And since we have so much information at our fingertips now, and we're so used to seeing people's faces when we're scrolling, it's all what marketing's always been. We got to follow buyer behavior. And then the other big thing here, hey, here's what this costs and why. If you are not afraid to be transparent, you are going to win so much of the market share versus your competitors. Because if you are gatekeeping price or anything about your service, people are going to see that as a red flag right out the gate. Before and afters, of course, always. Did your land look like this and you want it to look like this? It shows that you actually do the work. It helps them see what their land could look like. Always amazing. You actually explaining, I don't have to tell you, but so many guys complain about their competition, about customers, about people not knowing things. Quit complaining and start putting it into a video. It takes 60 seconds a day to educate your market on those things that bother you every day. They don't understand that you can't bring a $250,000 machine with a truck and trailer and insurance and a crew to their property for this amount of money. Tell them. This industry is newer than people realize. People have been knocking down trees and dozing trees for a long time, but land clearing and forestry mulching as it is today is fairly new compared to all other home services. You need to educate them on what it is, what are the benefits, what are the costs associated, and the ranges. There's clearing that costs 15, 20,000 an acre and up. And then there's things you can do at someone's property for $4,000 or $5,000, right? Match their vision to their budget. That's one of our jobs as the business owner. They call ready to book. Yeah. We're going to get into this later, but when it comes to social media ads specifically, speed to lead, if you don't have speed to lead, you're just going to be wasting money.
And so you hit on something there that I'm going to add to. I hear a lot of guys complaining, that there's too many guys getting into the market and they're too cheap and I can't mobilize for that. And so you said something very clearly. If you feel that way, talk through and educate the market about why the costs are where they are. And if we all collectively do this as an industry, we can actually set the baseline expectations for price with the customers where it actually needs to be. And that's going to help everybody in every market succeed. Because if any of you have gone through our Kickstarter training in the school group, the first thing we hammer on is price. Because if you can't get price right, there's really no point in being in business. If you're
Yeah,
breaking even or losing money, you may as well just go back to working the W-2 job.
big
So
time.
if you can first understand your price, and then secondly, if we can all do our part on educating the market where the price needs to be for us to not only stay in business, but thrive as a business, because in the future, once you start tracking your costs, you realize, holy crap, I actually do need to be somewhere between 2,500 and $3,000 a day to actually afford great people and
Yeah.
actually invest in benefits for the guys, actually pay down the equipment so that you're not living this stress ball day in, day out for years on end, right? And so I truly believe, and this is why I continue to show up with Jacob on Friday mornings, I believe that if we collectively can start educating the market where this price needs to be, and in turn, Jacob gets to share how to run ads so that you can run a more successful business, then I think we're all winning here.
Oh yeah. And do not be tempted to say, "Oh, I just can't get that in my area." That is the biggest load of garbage, and I've proven this 10 times over. When people are charging too little because they think that that's all people are willing to pay or can afford in your area, it's because you're fighting for the wrong customers. And we've had it so many times. Once you start getting enough opportunities of the right people, then we raise price, close rate stays the same. We raise price, close rate stays the same. It's just not true. If you think, oh, I can't get that, no, don't get tempted to think that.
Real quick,
Let
right now, and I know this is a little
Price
off
fight.
script. What? Sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
You're good. I was just saying, let those people who believe that fight for those low price customers, and you go get the good customers.
You just got back from 15 days on the road visiting some of your Titans, the
Mhm.
group of top performers of your clients. Can you just share some quick wins? I know this is off script and you may not have the screenshots prepared or anything like that, but I'm sure you have some things bouncing around of wins that Titans have had.
Yeah, absolutely. So every guy that I just went and visited has bought new equipment since working with us and raised prices since working with us, which is super exciting. They're all profitable, they're all growing. And the conversations we had while I was with them was about they wouldn't be where they were now without the partnership we had, but they're not satisfied, right? They're talking about where do we go from here. That's what I really really loved. Um, but the other big thing was, guess what they all did throughout the day while I was there trying to give all my attention to, working on this. When their phone rang, they answered that sucker. When a lead came in, they called it, right? Every single one of them landed jobs while I was there with them from
Mm.
leads that they pulled in while we were at job sites for other ones. And guess what? They were all working machines. They were all doing work. They were all working on the phones. They were all in the CRM. It's it's like, oh wow, we just do the playbook and this thing works. Imagine that. Uh, those were definitely some big wins. I got to be a part of a couple estimates. One guy got a call for like a 300-acre state of Florida job while we were there,
That's
um,
awesome.
which was pretty neat. Anyways, lots of cool stuff, but also lots of really good video footage that I'm excited for their ads to. We got about 6 months of solid ad creative refresh in a day of filming. So
And so something you and I have been talking a lot about, and I think it's an appropriate time. One of the most important things right now with the Andromeda update is creative. Can you touch on that real quick before we move on to this I hate being on camera slide?
yes, so the one liner is Facebook's rewarding net new content. So whoever can put out the most new good creatives is being rewarded being rewarded by low cost per impression. The flip side of that, or the negative side of that, is they're going to show your video a lot for cheap, but that means it will also fatigue fast, depending on how much you're spending. So the more you spend, you can get really good results, but you will jump through the lifespan of that creative faster. So you have to be ready to put out more.
Did any of the guys that you just visited have any of these sort of statements or excuses in the beginning? I'm not a tech guy. I've never done a selfie video. I don't have TikTok. I don't know what the heck an Instagram reel is. Look, I'm just go, go, go all the time. Like I'm in the skid steer. I'm answering the phone. I don't even know how to
Yes,
work a computer. Like, did anybody have that?
100%. Yeah, every single one of them. But once they got on camera with just the littlest coaching, they were killers. Killers at it. Like the new content that's going to be coming out is going to be wild. There's nobody putting out the stuff that we filmed this last time. So I'm super excited for that. But yeah, every single one of them, was like, "Hey, this isn't me," But then they were really good on camera, because what I did is I created an environment where I'm like, "Hey, I'm just going to ask you a question. You talk to me like I'm the homeowner. Look at me, talk to me." And that's what they did. And some really cool stuff came out of that. I wish I
So,
could go to first.
so at a certain point, they brought all of these things, but they got over it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they literally said that in the moment. They're like, "But this is what makes the money." Because they've been willing to learn in the past, and they've taken my advice, they've done it, and they've made money, and their business has grown, and they bought new machines. And now this was, level 2.
Love it. Okay. So tell us about the 45-second ad formula.
Yeah, so this is my favorite one. Just a throughput ad, basically. There's obviously more advanced strategies, but you just say, like, "Hey, do you own land? Hey, does your land look like this? Hey, are you thinking about having your property cleared? Hey, is your land overgrown?" Something in that first 3 to 6 seconds that's going to catch them and make them watch the rest. Then you show who you are, what you do, your machines and what they're capable of, job site behind you, active work happening, or cool little before and after pictures. Then educate. What do you actually do? What does it cost? How long does it take? Beautiful. And then some kind of call to action. You need to tell them what to do next. And you're not telling them to hire you. You're telling them to contact you. Fill out the form below. Give me a call. Here's the phone number. Go to our website, fill out this form. Whatever your way of them contacting you, that's what you need to tell them to do next, and that's how you need to leave it. Because you're selling the estimate right now. You're not selling the service. And that's why, like, one of my favorite things to say at the end is like, "We would love the opportunity to come to your property, walk it with you, see your vision, answer any questions you may have, and give you a fair price so you don't overpay." So the point of saying that is selling that estimate, selling that coming to thing. Now, that doesn't mean a lot of people are going to be like, "Well, I'm not going to go walk every single property with somebody who doesn't have the money." Yeah, you need to have qualifying questions on the form. You need to have a qualifying phone script, which you should be talking to every one of these people on the phone. It drives me nuts when these guys are like, "Oh yeah, I can meet you. I can meet you tomorrow," and that's all they say. And then they drive an hour, and then the person can't afford the service for what they need. And then they call me complaining that they burned a bunch of diesel and wasted money. And I'm like, "Well, you could have just wasted 30 seconds on the phone with that person first." Um, Anyways, sell the estimate. Don't sell the service.
So on this 45-second ad formula, as a recap, we've got hook, show, explain, call to action. On the slides for anybody who's listening just in the headphones this morning, Jacob's got written hook, for 5 seconds, show 15 seconds, explain 15 seconds, call to action 10 seconds. I've seen this question in the school group multiple times. Hey, how long should my ad be?
Yeah, I'm always shooting for under a minute. Facebook likes that. If you say 45 seconds and you end up, rambling a hair, you'll hit a minute. So that's where I like the 45 seconds.
What's the most important piece of this?
The hook. If you don't hook them, they're not going to watch any of it. So that's the
Everything
thing.
else is irrelevant, correct?
100%. Yeah. Yeah. And what we're seeing this year, actually, like even CTA is becoming less and less in terms of what you say on the video. Now, I like it because it helps qualify, educate, and really make clear on the next step. But I've even been seeing it with my ads where I take a TikTok that does well, that has no CTA, and all you do is put the CTA overlaid when you edit it. That's all you need. Now, I would still put the CTA if you're making a throughput ad, but the hook, you don't hook them, nothing else matters.
To be clear for anybody listening, the hook is the beginning of the ad. If you don't grab attention, nobody's listening to the rest of it. So you've got to grab attention.
Oops, sorry. I actually was able to, somebody posted in Owner Ops the other day, their ad, and it was really cool. But the first almost full 5 seconds was like the logo doing a animation, which I thought was really cool, but it's just not going to hook anybody. And so I was like, but then he had this really cool video of the mulcher just whoop, and I was like, dude, just put that up there and put the logo somewhere else. And so, yeah, those are the little things that, when you get into the editing and you see what CapCut can do, you're like, man, this is cool. But that's not going to stop somebody from scrolling. So,
I don't think you and I have specifically talked about this, but this is something I've thought about. So we've talked about equipment videos and how that attracts the bros who don't buy, who aren't buying your service.
mm-hmm.
Being on camera as the owner, sharing and educating the market attracts your ideal customer. But have you split tested, or do you have any data to back up hook specifically on taking one ad and only split testing the beginning hook between like mulcher top down video or, hey, Central County landowners, is your property like owner on camera?
Yes. We have one of our action, and this is a little contrary to my whole argument today, but one of our best performing ads of all time is a video where the first 3 seconds is the mulcher just getting a tree in half real quick. Now then it jumps into the other stuff.
Sure.
But yeah, that hook, and the hook can be anything. Like a lot of Hormozy's ads for school for a while was that donkey flipping over the fence, just completely irrelevant to anything, but it gets you watching it. And then you're like, once you're in it, you just keep watching it. It's just some kind of psychology thing. But yeah, the hook, it can really be anything as long as it hooks.
Totally.
We just did one interesting story. I had a change of plans when I was in Florida and ended up meeting a prospect in person in Florida and closing him in person on the spot. And we walked outside the restaurant we were at and filmed some ads in the park. And I had him do a couple hooks, like slapping this stop sign. And it was like, stop. Do you own 3 to 5 acres? And it was pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, the hook is the hook. It's whatever you can do to hook them.
And to be clear for listeners, the hook is whatever you can do to grab attention. Now, I believe that the reason Jacob has outlined it for this 45-second ad formula with you talking on camera is because that is the most consistent and proven formula right now with the data you have access to.
Yeah.
Across all markets, correct?
100%.
And then from there, once you have a good ad, you can start, it's called split testing. You can take the beginning of the ad and you can just splice in a different clip and test which one performs better. So not to get too far off track on that, but I did have that burning in my mind over the last several weeks.
Yeah. So just a little icing on top of that is if you know your meat of the ad converts good people, like good people have filled out the form, but maybe this ad has spent thousands of dollars and your cost per impression is increasing. You could flip a new hook into it and get a whole new audience of people to view it and then see the part of your ad that you know converts into good people. Um, that's basically a refresh strategy.
I'm getting leads, but they're all tire kickers.
Oh man, this one gets the heart rate up. So, real quick, if you have zero targeting in your ad creative, zero qualification, like you're running a messenger ad where every time they accidentally click on your video because they were trying to scroll past it, it creates a Facebook message. Please stop that, by the way. But if you're doing that, of course, you're probably going to get tire kickers. But assuming you have a decent ad that actually calls out your ideal client, shows who you do, there's some level of qualification in there, and you're saying you're getting tire kickers, the common denominator here is you are not working them fast enough. They've called 5 other people. They've realized forestry mulching exists because you created a good ad. They realize they need or want this on their property. They filled out your form. You took hours or days to get to them. Now they've either lost care or momentum, or they've called 5 other people because they've seen 7 other ads now, and someone else has already got to them. It happens every day. If you're saying that you're getting tire kickers, and you have a decent ad, that's the problem.
Any other reasons that come to mind on why somebody might be getting tire kickers outside of that?
If you're not specific enough, like you don't really educate enough in the ad itself, like you called out, well, hey, do you own land? uh, the problem is tire kicker is a little subjective, from what people think. But like we've had guys who like, I want big jobs, and none of these people are serious. They all want to spend $500, and the only video they've ever sent us is the forestry mulcher mowing a backyard, and it's like, yeah, that's what you're gonna get. But yeah, usually there's not enough education in the video if you're getting people who just truly don't understand the service. But
okay. So you've got here on this slide, tire kickers are a creative problem.
Yep. Yeah. That's why I said at the beginning earlier, if your ad is good and you still think you're getting tire kickers, that it goes back to speed to lead sales follow process. But ahead of that, yeah, you need a good creative.
Okay. And we've already touched on this, but to reiterate, on camera as the owner.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were asking. Go ahead.
On camera as the owner, equipment videos are going to attract every other owner operator, forestry mulching, skid steer operator out there. And while some of those, and a lot of you have seen it, like the accounts, who have millions of followers or hundreds of thousands, whatever, are creating all the cool equipment videos. That's cool. And you're getting thumbs up from the bros. But the question you've got to ask is, are those people targeting their local market, serving the local area? And so what Jacob has shared with you right here is the simple playbook for filming an ad, targeting your local area, calling out your ideal customer, and then following that 45-second ad script.
100%.
And then we'll go into the big one. You've already touched on it a couple times. We've touched on it about 132 times over the last 10 weeks. but I believe we'll touch on it 132 times over the next 4 weeks because it's that important. And then moving forward, we'll probably touch on it 132 times in a 2-week period because of how important this is.
Unless you hate money and you like to burn it, then keep giving your excuses.
How fast are you calling your leads?
It needs to be under 5 minutes, no exceptions. No exceptions. And that only is acceptable if you also have an instant auto text going out. And then from there, you need to be double dialing if they don't answer. You need to leave a voicemail. And if you really want to be cool, you need to be sending them a video as well. But when I say video, like an introduction, like, hey, I'm Austin with Bear Claw. Just got your estimate. Tried to call. I'm sure you're busy. Would love to connect and learn more about the project you have going on. Just wanted to introduce myself. Let me know when it's a better time. That we know I beat this number to death, but 391% increase in literal close rate if you can get to them in under 60 seconds. That one, Harvard and Hormozy and MIT, they've been talking about it for years. What I've actually been able to pull from our real data, which those studies come from real data across everything, from 300 plus land clearing companies and 5 years of land clearing sales from land clearing marketing, land clearing leads coming in, you are 100 times more likely to convert a lead if you call them within 5 minutes. Just think about that. And the data plays out. The data plays out in overall close rate. So if you're going to spend money on ads and you are not going to do everything you possibly can to call them within 5 minutes and follow up often on that in those first 7 days, then just don't even do it.
A 100 times more likely in the first 5 minutes. Okay, this slide for anybody who's listening right now, you've got 13 plus hours, you've got less than 5 minutes, and you've got 2 to 3 times higher. Can you talk us through the speed to lead gap here?
Yeah, so the average after hours response time is 13 plus hours. This statistic makes a lot of sense, right? And I posted something about this in our Titans group the other day, and Gary, who's no surprise one of our top performers, was like, yep, I won a job the other day because it came in at 10 p.m. and I called him and I got the job because I got to him fast. And the way I ended that post, I was like, a lot of you are going to say this is unreasonable, and hey, I don't have a massive argument against it being unreasonable. But do you want to be average or below average, or do you want to be great? And that doesn't mean it has to be you. You don't have to sell your soul, but everything costs something, time or money. You could pay somebody. You could build an AI. You can pay your sister-in-law, but it will make you more money if you get to more leads faster, more often. That's it. So think about that. There's a huge leak. When I pull the data on nights and weekends, dirty money is left on the table. Dirty money. And your customers are filling out forms and stuff more often on the nights and weekends because they're at their home. They're looking at the property. So figure out a way. Top performers response time under 5 minutes. I have this really cool dashboard that shows me speed to lead overall, and there is a direct correlation to close rate and revenue overall for speed to lead under 5 minutes across all of our clients. Like, I don't know how else to say that. You want to make more money? Get to them in under 5 minutes. That's human interaction. Human. The auto text needs to go out immediately. That's a what would you call that?
Non-negotiable.
It's not a non-negotiable. It's not a nice to have. It's a need to have. Close rate dramatically increases as the response gets faster. I have a pretty cool little chart that kind of just goes like this. Close rate just skyrockets as time to first human interaction goes down.
Did you ever listen to the Tim Ferriss podcast?
Who?
Did you ever listen to the Tim Ferriss podcast? He's the guy who wrote that 4-Hour Workweek book.
No.
No, you never did. Okay. So in my 20s, I listened to him, and he always thought about things, trying to think about things differently than the herd or most people think about. And so he said, whenever he was in sales, he said, what if I just did the opposite and just waited until 5 p.m.? And I'm not saying wait until 5 p.m. to call your leads, but his thought process of what if I called people after hours when they're not at work? What would happen with that? So he tested this experiment, and he actually found that more people were willing to answer the phone after hours or on weekends.
Yep.
And so I don't listen to the Tim Ferriss podcast anymore. I don't really agree with the premise he's pushing on, the books and all that stuff. But I did take that away from listening to those podcasts.
Oh yeah.
What would happen if you called people after hours or on the weekends? Now, some of these people are gonna be like, I'm not ever doing that. Like, I think it's disrespectful to call people on the weekends. And to your point, I think both of us are in church on Sunday morning as well, and I think we've got our non-negotiables as well on family time. And at the same time, there is a time and a money trade-off, right?
Yep.
If a lead comes in during church and I choose not to call it because I've chosen to prioritize church and family over calling the lead, that's great. And that means we're going to make less money on that lead. It just is what it is. And so the Saturday evening, 5:30 p.m., when somebody's filling out the lead, you've got to make the choice of, do you believe it's disrespectful to call somebody on a Saturday evening? Or do you believe that that person's actively scrolling their phone, so they're probably not doing anything else, so you may as well catch them while they're on their phone? That's a decision that you have to make for yourself. I believe what Jacob is trying to convey here is that if you do decide to call your leads, you will close more jobs and in turn make more money. And so for you, you have to make the decision of where's the time and money trade-off. But
And think about this, like my clients are you guys. If I did not work leads and accept Zoom calls evenings and weekends, I would not be in business, because that's when you guys are available, because that's when you're not in the machine. It's just how it is. You have to play to your customer, and that just is what it is. And I love what you said. Like, yeah, you can make these choices, but you just have to know that you're choosing to make less money and get less return on investment. I wanted to hit a few of the comments really quick. If you
yeah. Sorry, I've got two screens going right now.
You're good. So Brush Defenders USA said, what's the average lifespan on a video with new content? It's going to depend on how much money you're spending and how good the video is. We are trying to refresh bare minimum once a month for guys that can get us the content, for guys that can get us more. I'm trying to push that to every 2 weeks. And Andrew said tire kickers are seeking education. That's amazing. It's true. So many guys burn money by thinking if somebody's not ready for you to clear their land today, that they're just a tire kicker. Well, I can tell you, after seeing it for 5 years now, I have seen leads convert years later, but for 6 figures. Don't make them tire kickers just because they're not ready to buy today. Now, does that mean you need to spend hours on them? No, you need to get them into some kind of follow-up process. Calling customers in 5 minutes. Do you have to have the owner call, or can I have somebody else do it if I'm busy with something else? It needs to be a human. That's it. Some people like to pull themselves out of the operations and do sales. Some people like to hire sales and stay in the operations. That's just a choice. It's an opinion, preference. But what's not a choice, opinion, or preference is you need to have a human calling them.
Perfect. Yeah, thanks guys for tuning in. If anybody else has a question in the chat, please feel free to post it over there in the chat, and then we will revisit that after we get through these next couple slides. We've got about 5 more slides here. So we've already kind of hit on this, but the weekend revenue leak. Can you go through these numbers and so guys know exactly what it looks like if they don't call the leads on the weekends?
Absolutely. Yeah, so you're running ads every day. You're spending money on Saturday and Sunday. You work leads 5 on average. And this just kind of visually shows you um, that difference. So these are just numbers from our system, right? So the book rate's higher on a weekday, and so the close rate's higher. On the weekend, book rate's lower, close rate's lower. And it's literally just because people aren't working the leads. Again, choices we make. Um, I'm dealing with this. So my guys take calls on the weekends. Our text automations still go on the weekends, but they're not sitting at the computer locked in like they are in the weekday. And our close rate and book rate drops on the weekend as well. Uh, this is something I'm looking to solve. Human is always going to be better, but if I can create an AI that will do this for us, if we could at least get 80% of what a human would be on evenings and weekends, it would be well worth it. So I'm considering that right now for sure. But I also do a lot of other things like my automation is not just a text. It's like 3 texts, so it sounds kind of human. And I'm sending a video of me introducing myself. So every lead gets that. So it kind of helps. And if it's the weekend or evening and they're actually like not available to talk, they'll be very forward about that and say, hey, I'm with the family, or hey, I'm doing this or that. Call me back Monday. Well, that's beautiful. Now with 0 effort on my end, they have told me that they're available to talk on Monday. They've been contacted. The momentum stayed. We have a time set. Calling back when you're in the machine, Austin. I mean, I know you've actually done this, so I don't know if you want to say.
Yeah, I'll take it. It's a non-negotiable. Like when a call comes in, I used to operate just with my AirPods in. And so when a call comes in, I'm stopping the machine and I'm taking the call, just non-negotiable. Because at that point of the business, whenever you're a sole owner operator, yes, of course, delivering a quality product and service is incredibly important. Absolutely incredibly important. And booking the next job is important as well. And so you've got to do both, especially as a solo owner operator. But you've got to have notifications on. You've got to have a way to get notified. And as soon as you do, it's wind the machine down, take the call. Good morning, this is Austin with Bear Claw Land Services. How may I help you? Like it can be as simple as that. The most important thing is answering if a customer's calling in. Now, if you get a lead, having the notifications on and the text automations to where you get the ding notification and you see the notification come in, or have your Siri, tell you that, basically read the message through your AirPods. New lead just came in, new Facebook lead, and then it reads out customer name, email, phone number. And so at that point, we're powering down the machine. We're calling the lead as fast as possible. I won 2 government jobs like this. Excuse me. They were federal jobs in Rocky Mountain National Park. But the guy who called was the prime contractor. Had I not answered that phone, it's $250,000 that we could have missed out on. And so I hope that I share that story with the hope of letting you guys know that when somebody calls, you never know who is on the other line. When somebody fills out the form, you never know who that person is and what kind of job opportunity they have access to. And I can tell you this with 100% confidence because I've talked to the guy who hired us for that job. Hey, why did you end up hiring us? Well, because you answered the phone and you showed up the next day on the site visit and you did what you said you were going to do. And so at that point, we gave nobody else the opportunity because we answered the phone fast, we booked the site visit fast, and then in his mind, the land clearing contractors checked off. That guy was a consultant. He's a dirt guy. He's trying to hire other contractors. So in his mind, he's just working down the list. Who can I find that's reliable, who's going to answer the phone, do what they say they're going to do? And so
your best clients value time. So when people talk about tire kickers, those are the people who are gonna, lollygag. The best customers, that's what they want. They value that. You answer, you say you can be there, they're not calling anybody else because that's more time they have to take. Huge. I can't tell you when I was running the pressure washing business, I can't tell you how many times I was sitting there selling on the roof.
Have to.
It's like you just got to do it. Now, at some point, you're again going to trade time or money, and you pay somebody to help with that.
So here's another way to frame it. Do you think the customer cares that you're on another job?
Nope.
If you were to call that lead back 3 or 4 hours later and say, "Hey, I'm sorry I couldn't get to you. I was operating the equipment." In their mind, they're thinking, "So freaking what? Who cares? I've already called 3 other guys, and one guy showed up and he already gave me the estimate, and I already signed the deposit and paid him 50% down." Like, that's just the harsh truth, reality. And I'll take this one right into the next question on competition. When does competition become a bad thing? Does it ever? Is there such thing as a saturated ad market? Are we overwhelming our region? Here's my quick answer to competition. And Jacob, you and I have talked about this. You just got to do more and you have to do better. And so if more people come in, you have to be better. So you see more ads, you film more ads. You do it better. You take Jacob's recommendation on the script, film it, practice, get more reps in, film more ads, spend more money on ads. Like, competition is irrelevant if you have the mindset that you're just going to do more than your competition.
Yeah. And Andrew, this is a great question. And a lot of people feel this way. And I know you have a great attitude about this, Andrew, but sometimes I think it's funny when land clearing and forestry mulching guys ask this. And Florida is one of the ones people bring it up the most. Well, I drove from Miami to South Georgia and I saw 0 billboards, 0 yard signs. I saw like 2 Facebook ads while I was there, and I'm searching land clearing and forestry mulching all the time. So, I should be getting targeted. My point is, there may be a bunch of dudes out there with machines, but people don't know they exist. And we in the space, we think that an area is saturated because that's all we see on our feeds because we're in this ecosystem. But I can tell you that, people think that about Florida, but in my area in Texas, which is not saturated there either, there is billboards and yard signs for forestry mulching and land clearing every corner I go to. And guess what? There's still multiple companies doing multiple millions in one county. And I've said this before in a video, if you're not doing 2 million a year, you haven't even tapped your market. It doesn't matter where you are. It does not matter. And so, I love what you said, Austin. It's like, just do more, do better, set yourself apart. But where I like to really reel this in is imagine if an HVAC or a roofing company was like, man, this market's too saturated. It's like, dude, in any given city, there is 100 roofing companies. There's 50 HVAC companies. Like, imagine if those people are like, too saturated. But we think because a new guy with a forestry mulcher pops up on a Facebook ad that, oh man, my market's saturated. Everybody and their mom's got one of it. People have no clue you exist. People have no clue about this service. I'm telling you, that get the word saturated out of your head for this industry. I'm telling you, it will serve you wonders for sure.
It's wide open. There has never been a better time to be in this industry. And I do want to break something down as well here to add on to what you said. Just because guys are putting Facebook Marketplace, whatever you call them, ads or posts, I don't even know. I hear this a lot, like, oh, I see, like 18 guys on Facebook Marketplace. It's like, you see that because you search equipment in your market. Your ideal customer, if we're talking ideal customer, they have no way, shape, or form in getting anywhere close to the algorithm that's going to show them that, because they're not searching for heavy equipment. That ideal customer who owns a $10 million ranch cares about way different things than heavy equipment. So therefore, their algorithm is not going to show them. And I guarantee you that customer, there's a good chance at the top level doesn't even use well, I should probably hold up on that. My point with this is, like, we're on Facebook Marketplace as contractors because you're likely looking for the next trailer. You're looking for the next truck. You're always looking for a deal. That premium level customer probably just buys everything new. They may not ever even scroll Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
And then secondly, even if they are on Facebook Marketplace, they aren't looking for equipment. So therefore, the 18 guys who are posting mulching for rent, and then they try to, get their job out there, like, the customer is not going to see that.
Right. And you're talking about one placement of one channel. Like, Facebook's got 100 different placements, but that's still one channel. Then you've got Google, you've got Google Maps, you've got Google Ads, you've got Google Guaranteed, you've got YouTube, you've got TikTok, you've got Instagram, you've got billboards, you've got networking, you've got yard signs, you've got wrapping your truck. Like, there are so many different ways that you can let people know you exist, but we think market's saturated because you see 3 Facebook ads on your feed. I'm just saying, it will never benefit you to think that. And I guarantee you, if I ever feel like something is saturated, I will say it. I promise. This is not at all as a selling point for me, because I don't like to have guys on top of each other, but we easily could. We could easily have 2 guys in the same city and it would be no issue whatsoever at all. I don't do it. I don't like to do it, but it's not an issue at all. There's way more land to be cleared than than one guy could handle in one area.
I mean, we saw this play out last year. But to the point, right now, there's never been a better time. I'm a firm believer, and I think Jacob is going to have his own specific opinion on this, and he has the data to back this up. But in most markets, I think you should be running a Facebook ad. I think it's the lowest cost. If you follow the playbook that Jacob's talking about here, if you get on camera, if you use a hook, if you use the recommended body and the call to action, and there is brush in your area or there is thick overgrowth, if you follow the playbook, you can get leads. Okay. Do you know your cost per lead and close rate right now?
If you don't, there's problem number 1.
Okay, so what is cost per lead and close rate? Can you break those down for us?
Yeah, so cost per lead is how much you spent divided by how many leads you got. That's your cost per lead. And when we use this to track campaign performance, we're literally talking about ad spend versus. Now, you can get into the weeds, and if you're paying an agency or paying somebody to help you make videos or whatever, at the end of the road, you would want to factor that in more so towards cost to acquire customer versus your revenue. But in terms of the way we're talking about it today, it's how much you spend divided by how many opportunities you got. The companies that track their numbers grow. The ones that don't, guess. When you know, here's my cost per lead, here's my cost to get a job, here's what I make on average from that job, that gives you so much clear confidence to know, okay, I spent this much, I made this much, now let's spend double and get double. If you don't have that and you say, let's just spend more, you're kind of just rolling the dice, like worse odds than the casino. Got to know your numbers.
For listeners, you have 69% can't prove their marketing ROI and 31% track everything and 1,000% plus ROI.
Compared to people who don't.
Okay. So let's talk 4 numbers everybody should know. Break it down for us.
Cost per lead, close rate. Now, this is one I want to make a little asterisk on. A lot of people are like, I close 80%. They're talking about face-to-face. Most guys are decent at face-to-face. And to be honest, once you get face-to-face with a client, it's just not that hard anymore. What I'm talking about is close rate, lead to close rate. So this is the number that 1% can equal 6 figures. Our best guys are 24%. Those are the dudes getting like a 50x return on their marketing. The average for our company runs in like the 6 to 10% range. That's a healthy, like guys with 10x ROI making multiple millions, they're closing 10% of their leads. So that's a good range. Average job size. This is really going to help you with all kinds of things, but it definitely helps you forecast. If you know it costs you $30 to get a lead and your close rate's 10%, well, you can spend $3,000, get 100 leads, and you know you're going to get 10 jobs. And if you know your average job size is 5,000, you know you can make 50,000. And then you know 50,000, you spent $3,000. So then you got what? Like an 18x or 15x return on your investment. So then you know, okay, next month I'm going to spend 6,000 and I have the capacity to do X amount more. That's why I like to use those numbers.
So close rate, when you say a 10% close rate, you are referring to how many jobs did you close in relation to how many total leads did you get for that month? Correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So if you got 100 leads, that would mean that you closed 10 jobs at a 10% close rate. Everybody following on that? So how many total leads came in? How many total jobs did you book? That's your close rate. If you had a 20% close rate in the example of 100, what would the total jobs be?
20.
Okay. Now, when you take that and you understand your average job size, what would you say average job size is? Do you have that number across all accounts tracked on your end, Jacob?
About 7,500.
About 7,500. Okay, so let's use 7,500 for the average job size number. 10% close rate out of 100 leads means 10 jobs at 7,500 average job size. So how much revenue would that equate to?
$75,000.
$75,000. Now, in order to get 100 leads per month, and if I'm putting you on the spot, because if it's too different on markets across the board, but just a rough guess, how much would I have to spend to go get 100 leads a month?
If I was to give a healthy range, $3,000 to $5,000.
$3,000 to $5,000. So let's use 5.
Yeah.
So you're telling me, Jacob, that if I spend $5,000 plus I pay you, your $2,000 or $2,500 fee, whatever your monthly fee is,
mm-hmm.
to run ads. So I'm all in $7,000 on my marketing that month. And if I close at a 10% close rate on 100 leads, and the average job is at $7,500, that means I spent $7,000 and got $75 in return. So when Jacob says, what is your ROI? For rough numbers, what would that be? 10x.
10x. Which is our average.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, that's our average.
So the average, when you hear Jacob talking about 10x ROI, that's how he breaks down the equation. So first, you need to understand, what is your close rate? how many total jobs did you close in relation to how many leads you got? Second, if you don't have a system to start tracking your average job size, there are tools available that can help you do that. That would be the encouragement I want you guys to take away from this. Start tracking your close rate, your average job size, because if you can understand those, then you can really understand how much your return on investment is on your ads. And then it becomes this no-brainer decision of like, holy crap, why would I not dial up?
Exactly. And two big points I want to drive home here is when we're saying this, we're talking about this as a good scenario. We made 10x return on investment. The skeptics will look at this and say, well, then that means I got 90 leads that didn't convert. Yeah. Okay. But you made 10x your money spent. So that this is something that a lot of guys get caught up on. Like, holy cow, half of these leads weren't any good. And what they really mean is half these leads did not turn into jobs. That's not the point. So our highest revenue guys and our highest return on investment guys generally do the least jobs because they're doing bigger jobs. When you get that many opportunities, you cherry pick the best jobs that are the ones you actually want to do that pay well. And usually those are decent sized jobs. The point is not to get 100 leads to convert. The point is to get a healthy percentage of the leads to convert to jobs that get you a good return on your investment. And so that's one thing. It's just a mindset shift. Like, generally speaking, your percentage of close rate to leads is going to be low, depending on how you look at it. But as long as your return on investment's there, that's what matters. That's what actually matters. And again, the second point, skeptics will say, well, that's gross revenue. What about profit? Well, $75,000, 20% profits, 15 grand. So if you spend $5,000 to $7,000 to make a profit of 15 grand on the low end, who would not put in $1 to get 2 or 3 back? I'll make that trade any day. Any day. And that's just looking at it in a small window. So truly looking at the profit, if you're at least 20% margins, a healthy, decent business, you're getting a 3x return on your money put in. That's really, really good. And then if you look at it long term, how many times does a job turn into another job? Right? So when you look at lifetime return on things, it can really start to grow. But anyways, I just want to hit those two things because I know the skeptics are going to say, oh, 90 bad leads and what was the profit?
And I believe that you made a great point there. Yes, that does mean that you have to work 100 leads.
Yep.
And so the reality is, like, most guys are going to hear this and not go execute. If you take this and you go run the ad and you call the lead fast and you follow up with them and you work at all the 100 leads, 10% is like, that's average close rate.
Yeah.
10% is average. Like, and that's, and when I say average, that's your average. If you're good, you're going to close higher than that. And if you're great, you're going to close even higher. And so you can see that if you start honing in on the things and building the skills that you need to build as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, to start, one, understanding your numbers and your metrics. And then two, I mean, Jacob, you and I talk a lot about this, like, where's the constraint right now? Something that Hormozi talks about a lot. Like, once you understand those constraints, then you start attacking those constraints and you start building your skills as a business owner there. So if you're not closing at 10%, and guys, 10% is average. So be honest with yourself. If you're closing at 10%, like, you're average.
Yeah.
If you want to be good at sales, then that means you need to go hone your sales process. If you want to be great at sales, that means you need to go hone your sales process even further. I don't think it's unrealistic to close at 30%. 20% is bare minimum internally for us. Like, if we're below 20%, like, something's wrong with our sales process.
Right.
And so letting you guys know that the numbers still work at the bare base minimum average 10% close rate. And so when you understand that and you follow the playbook, hey, I filmed this ad following this step-by-step playbook. Hey, I launched this ad, I invest this money in marketing, then I go sell. And if I'm just baseline average, I close 10% of jobs. Then, oh, by the way, if I want to get better, I hone my sales skills and I increase to a 20% close rate. What does it do in that example we talked about? Takes you from 75,000 to 150 grand.
Yep. And guess what? This is the magic. You're still only spending 5 to 7 grand. Like, that's the thing. That's why I put so much time and effort, even against advice, into helping people track and get better at this. My job is not any of this. Close rate, job size, you closing, your sales process, that's not my job. My job is marketing, ads, create the opportunities for you. But I care about it so much, and I know you will get such a exponentially greater return if you get this right. You're spending the same with me either way. But if I can get you 20x instead of 5x, I love that. So why would I not optimize you for that? Like, there's guys that are very happy with us that get a 5x ROI. They're very happy with us for years. But I want more. I want more for them.
Love it. Let's do a quick recap here. We covered a lot.
Yeah, make videos for your customer, not for the bros. Tire kickers are first a creative problem. Fix the ads, fix the leads, and work the leads fast and often. Call them back in minutes, not hours, especially weekends. Figure out a way. Technology's here. Know your numbers. Going back to knowing your numbers, if you think you can't afford to hire somebody to work your phones and leads, you haven't done the math. I have a video about this. If you can get one extra job a month, it like 10x pays for what it would cost to have somebody work your phones. Cost per lead, close rate, job size, ROI. Know them. No.
Guys, he's giving you the playbook here. Okay. What it boils down to is, will you actually do anything with it? All right. I've said this before on the podcast, and I genuinely mean this. I shared this earlier. I used to listen to some podcasts, that would spark ideas and get you all excited. But in my 20s, I never did anything with it. There was a certain point in time where I said, I'm just going to start taking action with all the knowledge. Okay, so if you've been joining the live streams, Jacob and I are talking about the same things over and over and over again. So it's nothing new for most of you who have been tuning in. We keep coming back to this because it is the playbook.
Yeah.
Now, some of you who are just joining and who are new to this, some of this may be new to you. If it's new to you, that's great. If it's not new to you, go take action.
Mm-hmm.
Take massive action. That's the only way you get results. If it's new to you, go back, rewatch this, learn it until you have an understanding of it. But if you're going to continue to come back to these over and over and over again, we're going to talk about the same stuff. And my hope is that what you take away is an energy to go take action and actually do the things, because that's how you're going to get results. All right, Jacob, anything else you want to share with listeners this morning?
There were some decent questions. I have to go at 9:30, or basically about 15 minutes, but I can definitely answer some of these questions, or we can.
Fantastic. Let's take it away. Which one do you want to start with?
It goes a little far back. I want to make sure we didn't miss anybody. Okay, here we go. So Matt, I think he asked twice. What if you're a new startup, don't have equipment on site to do the video? I love this excuse because we have plenty of guys who have just filmed in the truck, standing in front of the truck, walking in the park. Like, obviously, it's better when the equipment's working in the background or you're on a job site, but it's not a necessity. There are guys right now getting leads and paying jobs from AI before and after videos. Like, they're not real. I do not recommend that. What I'm saying is that's working. you talking to the camera will work better. Starting off, I do not have any equipment. Getting before and after shots are being created by AI for what? That's funny. I just said that. Is
Real
that
quick,
making it dishonest when making ads or reels? Go ahead.
I got something for this here. Go film in front of your truck. Just go stand in front of your truck. Couple of my best performing ads, even on owner ops side and on Bear Claw side, just in front of my truck.
Yep. 100%. Just do it. I'm not going to tell you not to do the AI thing. I don't like it. But I think you're going to get a better customer, and you'll not feel that imposter syndrome if you just talk to the camera.
Short term, it can work. Long term, you're not building any skills that are going to outlast the competition.
For sure. A&S Brushworks, this dude, killing it. His videos get better on TikTok every day. I love him.
Love it.
He asked, what are some of the must-have categories for ad targeting? What are some that you found to get the best return? Let me tell you a super cool secret right now. The targeting in Facebook has moved to the creative. I'm still testing this because I did things one way for 5 years, but every single time I test interest targeting versus open targeting, the open targeting wins. Facebook wants the control. So they're favoring open targeting. You target by what you say in the ad, what you put in the copy, the text, and what actually is said and talked about in the video, which is why it's so important that you call out your ideal client in the video. Facebook's algorithm will pull that, and it will target people based on that. Oh, let's see. Recommendation: salesperson or company. I've had lots of guys be very successful by pulling sales guys from other sales roles, just any sales, especially like door to door and stuff, because those guys are just tough skinned. They're going to really like working inbound leads. But I mean, anybody. The big problem usually is the working the leads up until the point of getting the estimate. You can have anybody do that. A receptionist, an admin type person, your wife, your aunt. Give them the script, give them the information they need to get, and a calendar. That would
Solar,
be the best way.
solar industry, roofing industry.
Yeah, those guys are killers.
Pool builders down in the South, they're used to selling high ticket. Yeah, Indeed's straightforward. Go put a job posting on Indeed and recruit from those industries.
And a little secret hack here: if you do it right and you get the right hungry guy, a sales guy is technically free. They just work on commission. If you are having a hard time, you can pay a base, but these guys, if they have any prior experience, they're used to commission. And when you tell them that they could potentially sell, $15, $25, $30,000 jobs off of inbound leads from your marketing, they're gonna like that.
Which one we got next?
I think that was most of them. The only one I saw, Timber Shredder said, "Thank you. Need to get set up. I get calls but not messages." I guess that was really a question.
Okay.
If you get calls but not messages, it's your call to action. Like, you need to tell them what to do and have a clear spot for them to do that.
Okay, I'm going to see if I can get audio on JT's ad here. He posted in the school group and wants feedback on his ads. For those of you who are not in the school group, if you want to jump in, it's for land clearing, forestry, mulching guys, school.com/ownerops, skool.com/OWNROPS. Jacob, I'm going to need you to let me know if you get audio here.
Okay.
Do you own land in the Treasure Valley and have a problem?
Yeah, I've got it.
You got it? Okay, perfect. Start this over.
Do you own land in the Treasure Valley and have a problem with it looking like this? and you want a solution to that problem to get it looking like this?
Hi, I'm JT, owner-operator of High Desert Landworks. We are Idaho's premier service provider for all of your land clearing needs.
We use specialized equipment with the latest technology to make your backyard dreams a reality. If you have a problem with overgrowth taking over your land, give me a call and I'll personally come out to your property to give you a free estimate on the spot. Just fill out our form, answer a few questions, and I'll get you on the schedule. We'll be in touch.
I love that. I love the I'll personally come. That's huge. Like people love that. It works really well. And that's a beautiful way to get trust built so fast. If you say you're going to do something like that and then you do it, like they call, you answer the phone, you actually show up to the property, like you said in that video. That is an amazing trust builder snowball. But little caveat, if you say something like that and you don't, you have killed it right out the gate, like destroyed. Yeah, I don't have anything negative to say. I mean, that the caption kind of covered the text at the beginning if I wanted to be nitpicky, but I like it. That's a good ad.
Yeah, I would rip that ad right there and then make a couple tweaks on caption. Music little loud over the voice if I had to be nitpicky. So all good, man. Rip it. No red flags. And the only other thing I would say is from a split test perspective, like we were talking about, split test using your face right out the beginning.
Yeah, because I wouldn't have even known the face was going to come. I'm glad it did, but yeah, I would definitely just chop that up and try it that way.
But hats off to you for filming this and asking for the feedback. I've said this before in the group for those of you who have posted your ads. You are the ones who are taking the action and actually making things happen. When I first started running Facebook ads, I was just running an image ad. I didn't know what the heck I was doing 3 years ago. But by simply doing it and testing and having a feedback loop of this works or this doesn't work, you're going to get results faster. So those of you who take action like JT will get results faster. Let's do the next one here.
Are you a Treasure Valley landowner that has property that looks like this and has always wanted it to look like that? Well, then we can help. Here at High Desert Landworks, we have specialized equipment that makes brush removal, fire mitigation, and land clearing a breeze. If you're interested in reclaiming your property from overgrown brush, fill out our form below, shoot us a message, and we'll give you a call. I look forward to hearing from you.
So this one's going to be decent to test. I'd be curious to know how it did, but my thought out the gate is really no hook. I wouldn't have watched it.
Are you a Treasure Valley landowner that
I think it's a little boring, honestly, overall, but it's always good to have those in the campaign because you never know when one will just kind of take off. But if I was just being opinionated, yeah, like really no hook. This one, I already could tell I'm going to like this one.
Hey, Treasure Valley landowners.
Quicker though, quicker, straight to the punch. Like if you have any dead space,
Millennial pause.
yeah, like straight to the punch. If I can hammer anything here, guys, and Jacob coached me up on this early on, but like get straight to the punch, like fast.
Are you tired of your property looking like this? And you want it to look like this?
Nice.
Hi, I'm JT, owner of High Desert Landworks, Idaho's premier service provider for all of your land clearing needs. Here at High Desert Landworks, we prioritize 3 things: safety first, building lasting relationships, and committing to a 5-star service.
Nice.
So, if you live in the Treasure Valley or the surrounding area and are interested in getting your free quote for land clearing, brush removal, or fire mitigation, fill out our form below, shoot us a message, and we'll give you a call. I look forward to hearing from you.
If I had to guess, I'd say that one's probably doing the best.
Love it.
I don't know
Love
if
it.
said anything about that, but that was a good one.
Love it. Good stuff, JT. Thanks for sharing.
Looks
Yeah,
like
those
we already-
small little tweaks are going to help.
You said he quoted 72K, close 30K. That's from these, huh? Average of 2.
I'm running 3 video creatives, 23 leads and around 70 cost per lead. Average of 2 campaigns. Quoted 72K and have closed 29.9 on 6 jobs. Spent 1,600.
I would ask him to screenshot the campaign, because my first thought is 1 or 2 of these ads is doing better. And if he were to cut the losers, he could probably get that cost per lead down and then refilm some ads like the winner. And then just go from there.
Awesome. JT, hats off to you for taking action, man. Thanks for sharing in there. Jacob, thanks for giving feedback.
Yeah.
Do we have any other questions in the group? Jacob's got to pop off, but I can stick on for a couple minutes here.
ANS said he posted
Corey
one. I was just going to say, I'm always down to do this, but I am a little inconsistent with checking the group, but I'm totally cool if people want to tag me when they post these things. So, feel free to tell them they can tag me. I mean, I know you can give them great feedback as well, but if they ever want my opinion, I'm always down.
Yeah, fantastic. And for any of the listeners here, make sure to tag if you want Jacob or I to see it, because school doesn't notify you unless you're tagged into the post. So if it's just a post without a tag, I don't see it in my notifications. Thank you guys for joining. We appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in for another episode of Land Clearing Live. Jacob, I know you got to jump off, so I'll wrap it up here. Every week we jump on 7 a.m. Mountain Time, 8 a.m. Central, and we're talking all things land clearing, ads, sales, growth, operations. If you're not in the free school group, jump over there. We've got a free starter spreadsheet and a free Kickstarter training. School.com/ownerops, SKOOL.com/OWNROPS. And Corey, I will do ad feedback in the group. We'll see you over there.
Bye.